Let's come to the first question. This is the first question and take the second or third question in your paper note. So here three particles are given of mass 1 kg, 2 kg and 3 kg are placed at the vertices A, B and C respectively of an inverted triangle. Let's draw the diagram. So here three particles are there of mass 1 kg, 2 kg and 3 kg, and this is given that we have to find the center of mass from the vertex A which is at the origin. So let's draw the origin. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis, this is point A. Point A is having 1 kg mass and the coordinate is going to 0, 0. Now let's talk about the point B. So point B is going to be 2 kg mass and the coordinate. If I am talking about the coordinate, so we can say that the side is 1 meter, side is 1 meter. So this coordinate is going to be 1, 0. Okay? Any problem? Okay. So let's talk about the C. So C is going to be having 3 kg mass, C is going to be having 3 kg mass and the coordinate, let's talk about the coordinate. So we can say that this side is 1 meter and this angle is 60 degree as it is a regular angle. So we can say that the coordinate of this and this point, C point is going to be 1 by 2 comma root 3 by 2. Okay, 1 by 2 comma root 3 by 2. Now we want to find the center of mass. And we know that the center of mass being system of discrete particles is going to be m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus m3 r3 divided by mass m1 plus m2 plus m3, like this. Okay, so if we are going to put the values, so we can say that for mass m1, for this first 41 kg, the coefficient is 0. So for this part, this is going to be 0. This part is going to be 0. This part is going to be 0. Now for the second part, M2 mass is 2 kg, mass is 2 kg, and the coefficient is 1 I cap only. So it is going to be 2 I cap plus 0 j cap. And similarly, if you want to put the value of 3 kg mass, so the coefficient of 3 kg is 1 by 2. This is 3 kg mass, 1 by 2 I cap plus root 3 by 2 j cap, and in the denominator we have to write the total mass, so that is 1 plus 2 plus 3. So if you solve, you will get 2 plus, this is going to be 5, so 2, and this is going to be 4, 4 plus 3, 7 by 2 into 6 I get, and it is going to be root 3 into 3 by 2 into 3, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6 j. So your answer, final answer is going to be 7 by 12 I get plus 3 root 3 by 12 j. So this will be a question of center of mass. So it is a very simple question, formalized question, and the right answer will be a fourth option. Okay. So let's move to the next question. So here it is a very good question based on the notation. It is given that two carriers are connected by a non-slipping belt as shown in the figure. I is 4 km, 4 km. So here the moment of inertia is given as 4 kg/meter square, and radius is 20 cm is 0.2 meter. You can say this is the radius is 0.2 meter. The radius is 0.2 meter. And for the second body, I2 is 20 kg/meter square, and R2 is 0.3 cm. It is given. Now what is the extra information that is given? It is the 10 meter torque is applied on the smaller unit. So on the smaller unit, 10 meter torque is applied, so let's say torque is applied in this direction. So it is going to be 10 meter, and due to this torque, there will be one alpha, which T can calculate, which is torque equals to I alpha. So what will be the torque equals to I alpha? We can say that torque is going to be 10 I is 2 alpha. We have to calculate, so alpha for this body, if we are talking about alpha 1, we are talking about alpha 1, so alpha 1 is going to be 5 by 2 radian per second square. As all the values are assigned, so we can say that this is going to be the value of alpha 1, that is 5 by 2 radian per second square. It is going to be rooted here. It is still in the first option of the measure of the expression of the smaller value. So the expression of the smaller value is 5 by 2. So for A option third is correct. For A option third is correct. So you can see here, if I choose the third, so these two options may be correct. These are already rejected. Now we have to find any other question, any other option. So we can select top on the larger value and the expression, angular expression for larger value. So what we can say here, if there is no splitting, so velocity, you can select velocity of this point, velocity of expression of this point, expression of this point P should be equal to expression of this point P dash. Expression of point P should be equal to expression of point P dash. And what will the expression of point P? Expression of point P should be equal to expression of point P dash. And if you want to write the expression of point P, so I can say that it is going to be what? R1 alpha. It is going to be R1 alpha. It should be equal to expression of point P dash, and you can understand that this is also going to rotate, this is also going to rotate like this. This is some other expression alpha. So from here you can say that this is going to be R alpha. And what are the values of R1 and R2 and alpha? We know the values. If we put the values, we can say that R1 is going to be R1 is 0.2 into 5 by 2 is equals to 0.3 into alpha 2. So alpha 2 will be 5 by 3. Alpha 2 will be 5 by 3. Again, radian per second square. So from here, the angular expression of the Rajah is for this. The answer is first. So we know the answer, right? We don't need to solve the B part. It is going to be third for A and first for B, so it should be third option. Okay. So let's move to the next question. Okay, so are you able to understand? Any doubt, any problem? So let's move to the next question. So this is the question. I guess you have also seen this question in your exam, today's exam. So what do you think? What will be the answer? What do you think? Take 30 seconds to find what will be the answer. What was your answer? What answer you have ticked in your exam? In the meantime, let me draw the diagram. Sun is here in the elliptical orbit. Okay, so here we have 2 points, aphelion and perihelion. This one is perihelion. Perihelion is the point which is nearer to the sun, whereas the aphelion is the point which is further from the sun. So we can say that this is perihelion and this point is aphelion. And it is given that the RP, VP, LP, RA, VA, LA are the radii, velocities and angular momenta. So talking about the radii, we can clearly see that the radii of the perihelion is going to be greater than the aphelion. Radii of the perihelion is going to be lesser than the radii of aphelion. So by this logic we can say that velocity, or we can talk about the angular momentum for the angular momentum part as well. Since we know that torque about sun is going to be 0, therefore angular momentum at aphelion should be equal to angular momentum at perihelion. So angular momentum at both points are going to be same. Therefore, and this is clearly seen from the diagram. So RP is less than RA and LA should be equal to LP. So this is LA also LA equals to LP, but in this case only RP is lesser than RA. So this will be our correct answer. We don't need to solve for the next part, for the velocity part. Understood? Any doubt? Okay. Write down in the chat that if you have any doubt, you can write down. So let's move to the next question. Okay, so this is the question. Read this, try to figure out what will be the correct answer. Which answer you have picked in your exams. Okay, so let's talk about the question. So it is given that total energy of a satellite in a circular orbit. We know that total energy in a circular orbit is minus gm of Earth mass of satellite divided by radius or the distance between the Earth and satellite. Radius, the distance between Earth and satellite. So we can say that from this formula, if we put the values, so gme, it is me ms, mass of Earth, mass of satellite divided by distance between Earth and satellite. So this is the Earth and it has a radius r. It has a radius r, and the satellite, it is at a height of h from the surface of the Earth. So it is at a height of h from the surface of Earth. So we can say that the small r will be r plus h. So total energy, you can clearly see that total energy is inversely proportional to r plus h, and there will along with a minus sign. So this fourth option will be our correct option. I guess you understood this question. Okay, you can ask your doubts. If you have any doubt, you can ask your doubts in your chat. Okay. So read this question. This is the next question. Read this question. It's a very simple question based on a Hooke's law. Okay, so what is given here? That the two wires A and B are made of same material. So we can say that if they are made of same material, so the material properties are going to be same. And their diameters are in the ratio of 1:2 and lengths are in the ratio of 1:3. If they are stretched by the same force, then increase in the length will be in the ratio. So we have to find the increase in the length. So what is the formula of increase in the length? So the increase in length is going to be delta L is equals to FL upon AY. If material is same, so we can say that this value is same, as well as if force is same, stretching force same, so this value is same. So delta L, we can say that delta L should be directly proportional to L upon A. And we know that the diameters are given, the ratio of diameters are given, not the area. So we can say that the diameter is, if we want to express the area in terms of diameter, so we can say that it will be directly proportional to d square. So we can put the values here. Delta L for A divided by delta L for B should be equals to LA upon LB multiplied by DA square DB square. Are you able to understand the values? First we have written the formula, then we have compared the, then we have found the proportionality, then we are going to compare. So LA upon LB is going to be what? LA upon LB, the ratio of lengths is 1:3. When you are going to put the values, you have to be careful. Then the diameters are in the ratio of 1:2. So DA upon DB is 1:2, not DB upon DA. DA upon DB is given as 1:2. If you want to put the value of DB by DA, so that will be inverse of it. So it is going to be 2/1 to the whole square. So the value is going to be 4/3. So the answer of increase in length will be in the ratio of 4:3. So third option will be our correct option. Okay. So this is very simple question based on Hooke's law. Now we are going to move to the next question. So this is the next question. This is a calculative question. As you can see here, there is so much data in this question. But in fact, this question is still easy. So read out this question and then we are going to solve this question for you. The paper level is very easy. Most of the questions are formula based. If you know the formula, you can solve the questions. Most of the questions are formula based. So as you can see here, a horizontal pipe carries water in a streamlined flow at a point along the pipe where the cross sectional area is 10 cm square. So area is given at a point, the velocity of water is 1 meter per second and the pressure is this thing. So we need to relate pressure, area and velocity, as well as this is horizontal given, so the height is also mentioned. So we can use the Bernoulli equation as well as the equation of continuity. There are only two equations in fluid dynamics. First one is equation of continuity. But this is Bernoulli equation, that is going to be P1 plus half rho V1 square plus rho G H1 should be equals to P2 plus half rho V2 square plus rho G H2. So this is the Bernoulli equation. The other equation that we know is equation of continuity, that is A1 V1 is equals to A2 V2. So let's put the values in this. We know that cross sectional area is 10 centimeter square. The velocity is 1 meter per second, and the pressure is 2000 Pascal. So pressure is given as 2000 plus half rho. Rho is given as 1000. And V1 square. V1 is 1 meter square. Plus height. Talking about the height, it is given that horizontal pipe, so height h1 and h2 are going to be same. So we can cancel the values because h1 is equals to h2. Are you able to understand? Because it is a horizontal pipe, so height of this and height of this end is going to be same. Now this is cancelled, so it is 0 plus pressure. Talking about the pressure, so that's the only thing that we need to find, the pressure at the other end. So P2 we need to find half rho. To find the P2, we need the value of V2. To get the value of V2, we can use this equation A1 V1 is equals to A2 V2. What we can say, A1 area is already given, that is 10 centimeter square into V1. V1 is 1 and A2 is what? What is the A2? What is the value of A2? A2 is 5 centimeter square. It is already given 5 centimeter square. So at this point velocity will be V2. So V2 will be equals to 2 meter per second. So if you put this value here, so 2 is squared. So you will get the value of pressure from this equation only. So from this equation only you can get the value of pressure. Density is already known. So from here you can get the value of pressure. Any doubt? Have you understood this question? So from this we will get pressure. By calculation we will get the pressure as 500 Pascal. We will get the pressure by solving this equation, 500 Pascal. So this will be our second option, will be our correct option. Understood? So this is a very simple question based on the fluid dynamics. Okay. Now we are going to move to the next question. Okay. Very favorite question of competitive exams. It may be asked in current electricity as well. Same type of question you have seen in current electricity as well. You have to find the temperature. In this case, you have to find the temperature. In current electricity, we can find the potential at this point. So both of them are having the same way of solving, same method of solving. So we can say that here 3 metal rods of the same material and identical in all aspects are joined as shown in the figure. So if this is having resistance R, thermal resistance is R. So this is also having thermal resistance R and this is also having thermal resistance R. Now the temperature at the end of these rods are maintained as indicated. This is 90, this is 90 and this is 0 degrees centigrade. Assuming the no heat energy losses occurs through the curved surface of the rod, the temperature of the junction of the junction axis. So you have to find the value of x. So what we can say? We can say that let's assume that some heat current is going to flow from this point to this point, some heat current is going to flow from this point to this point, and some heat current is going to flow from this point to this point. Now what do we know from the Kirchhoff's law? That the total current from any junction at a steady state, the total current from any junction at a steady state is going to be 0. The total outgoing or total incoming current. So we have assumed the total outgoing current. So H1 plus H2 plus H3 should be equals to 0. Now let's talk about the H. What is the heat current? What is the value of heat? Heat is going to be delta T by R, similar to current where it is written as delta V by R. Here it is thermal resistance. So what we can write here? We can say that temperature here is X, so X minus 90, because it is assumed at high temperature, that's why the current is moving from here. It is not moving from to here, it is moving from here. So we have assumed this X is greater than 90 degree. So it is X minus 90 divided by resistance R1, R. Then for this H2 it is same, X minus 90 divided by R plus X minus 0 divided by R is equals to 0. So R will get cancelled out and you will find that this is going to be X plus X plus X. It is going to be 3X minus 90 if you transport that value there, so it is going to be 180. So from here you will find that X is 60 degree. This is X. No? This is X. X is equals to 60 degrees centigrade. The answer is 60 degrees centigrade. So the correct option will be our fourth option. 60 degrees centigrade. Okay. So this is very easy question. This type of question is asked in JEE Mains as well. Okay. So So now move to the next question. This is the next question. Read out this question. It is very simple question, conceptual question, as we can say. So in this question, read out this question. This question says that a gas is taken from state A to state B. So initial and final state are same for two parts, part 1 and part 2. So two states are fixed, and the gas is taken from this initial state A to final state B by two parts, part 1 and part 2. So what we can say, if initial state and final states are same, if initial and final states are same, so change in internal energy for the gas is going to be same, or we can say constant. It is going to be same. Change in internal energy is going to be same for path 1 and path 2. Path 1 and path 2. And from first law of thermodynamics, what does first law of thermodynamics says? That Q should be equals to delta U plus W. If you want to find the value of delta U, because you know the value of delta U is going to be constant, so that can be written as Q minus W. So delta U for first path should be equals to delta U for second path. So Q1 minus W1 should be equals to Q2 minus W2. I guess you understood the concept behind it. So the correct answer will be our first option. The correct answer will be our first option. Okay, can we move to the next question? Okay, now check out this question. This question is, it looks very calculated, but it is very easy. It is just a equation that we need to understand. It is given that at 27 degrees centigrade temperature, the mean kinetic energy of the atom is ideal gas is even. As we are using ideal gas, so we have to use the Kelvin scale. So first we are going to change this temperature into Kelvin scale, so that is going to be 300 Kelvin. I guess you know how to convert Celsius into Kelvin. So you just need to add 273 into degrees centigrade to change it into Kelvin. And if at this temperature the energy is even, if the temperature is increased to 27 degrees centigrade, it is increased to 2, means so this is the final temperature. So at this final temperature, if we convert this final temperature into Kelvin, so it is going to be 600 Kelvin. 600 Kelvin. So now we need to find the mean kinetic energy at this temperature. So what do we know from our knowledge? That E should be directly proportional to temperature. E is directly proportional to temperature. So from here we can say that E1 upon E2 should be equals to T1 upon T2. At temperature T1, this is 300. The internal energy is E1, and at temperature T2, which is 600 Kelvin, we need to find the value of E2. So that is going to be what? If you cross multiply, it is going to be 2 times E1. So this is our answer. So it is very simple, single step question, conceptual question that you can solve by using this concept that E, internal energy of the ideal gas, should be directly proportional to temperature according to kinetic theory of gases. This is the result we know and we use in many situations. Now we are going to move to the next question. Okay, so here the variation of kinetic energy K of x, potential energy U of x, and total energy is given as a function of x. And you need to find the value of a mode of x0, where x0 is the point where kinetic energy graph and the potential energy graph intersect. The kinetic energy graph and the potential energy graph intersect. So what we can say from this graph, if these two graphs, potential energy graph and kinetic energy graph, are going to intersect each other, then the value of these two graphs must be equal to each other. So we can say that at x0, U of x0 should be equals to kinetic energy of x0. So what is the value of U as a function of x? We know that it is going to be very, very basic, half kx square, and x is x0. Kinetic energy as a x0, we can say that it is going to be half m v square, where v square can be written as v square. I am writing directly. V square can be written as omega square a square minus x0 square. Understood? Kinetic energy is half mv square, and v is omega times under root of a square minus x square. This is the basic equation of SHM that we have studied in our class. So we can say that this value should be equals to this value, and we know one more thing, that k is equals to m omega square. We know that k is equals to m omega square. So from here we can cut these halves as well as this value of k. So x0 square will be equals to a square minus x naught square. So 2x square is equals to a square. So x naught will be equals to a square by 2, and if you take the root, so it is going to be a upon root 2 plus minus a by root 2. So this value is a by root 2 and this value is minus a by root 2. And we need to put the value of magnitude of x naught. So magnitude of x naught is going to be a by root 2. So for the magnitude, it is going to be a by root 2. So this is a very simple question. It is just formula based question that you can solve by yourself. If you are not able to understand anything, you can write down in chat. Okay. So now we are going to move to the next question. Okay, so this is the question, second question. So here, this is again very conceptual question. It is given, read out the question. It is given that we have to find the angle between two velocities. Angle between two velocities. So here we have to find the angle between two velocity of particle as well as velocity of wave in a transverse wave. As we know that, what is a transverse wave? Transverse wave is a wave in which particle oscillates perpendicular to the velocity of wave or the motion of. So this is the transverse wave. The particle is going to move in this direction along y direction and wave is going to move along x direction. So obviously the angle between the velocities is going to be 90 degree and 90 degree is pi by 2 radian. So this is very simple question. It is a very conceptual question, you can say. Okay. So now we are going to move to the next question. Okay, so here, this is the next question. Read out this question. A metallic sphere of radius r carrying a charge q is kept at certain distance from another metallic sphere of radius r by 4. So there are two spheres, one is having small q charge, another one is having capital Q charge, one is having capital R radius and another one is having capital R by 4 radius. Now we have to find the electric flux at any point inside the metallic sphere of radius r. We have to find the electric flux. What is the electric flux? We know that electric flux is nothing, just Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. So if we want to find the electric flux at any point inside the metallic sphere of radius r, means here, if we want to find the electric flux at any point here, then due to the sphere of radius r by 4, one thing we know that if it is a metallic sphere, so it should be a conductor, and if it is a conductor, so no charge can reside inside the sphere. No charge can be present inside the sphere. If no charge is present, if Q enclosed is 0 inside this entire sphere, so phi, the electric flux, will also be 0. So we don't need to bother about the induction or any other thing. We can say that if the net enclosed charge inside the metallic sphere is 0, so the electric flux is also going to be 0. I hope you understood the concept. So this is the answer of this question, that is 0. Okay, let's move to the next question. This is the same type of question. It is also the same type of question based on the same concept. Now I ask you to try this question and get the answer. It is going to be use the same concept, same formula, nothing else. This time this KCET paper is very easy. 40 questions are from class 12. 40 questions. Are you able to understand 40? Or from 60 questions, 40 questions are from 12th class only. Only 20 questions were from 11th class syllabus. So let's get back to this question. So here it is given that you are given a dipole of charge plus q and minus q separated by a distance to r. A sphere A of radius r passes through the center of the dipole as shown below, and another sphere B of radius 2r passes through the charge plus q. Then the electric flux through the sphere A. So we have to find the electric flux through this surface. Electric flux through this surface. Focus on this surface only. Focus on this surface only. Electric flux. As I can say here, if I am talking about the electric flux, so that should be equals to Q enclosed upon epsilon naught. And if I am talking about this sphere, so the enclosed charge is minus Q. Enclosed charge is minus Q. So our answer is going to minus Q upon epsilon naught. Very easy, very simple. So the correct answer is going to minus Q upon epsilon naught. That's all. Question solved. So this is the answer of this question. Now let's move to the next question. So here a potential. Next, again this question is from class 12 syllabus and it is very easy. It is given that the potential at point A is minus 3 volt and at another point potential is 5 volt. Okay, so potential at point A is minus 3 volt and another point is 5 volt, and you need to carry the charge of 5 millicoulomb from B to A. From B to A, not from A to B. You have to carry the charge from B to A. So assume that this is point B, this is point A, this point is at, this B point is at 5 volt, this point A is at minus 3 volt, and you are moving the plus 5 millicoulomb charge from B to A, and you need to find the work done. You need to find the work done in this process. As we know that work done is nothing, just change in potential energy in case of electrostatic field or in case of any conservative field. So work done is equals to change in potential energy, and change in potential energy in this case is going to be Q times delta V. Q times delta V. What is delta V? What do you mean by delta V? Delta V means the change in potential. What will be the change in potential? It is going to be final potential of A, not B. When you are going to put the values, you need to be careful that final potential will be of A, not of B, and initial potential will be of B, not of A. So this is the final potential A and this is the final potential of B, initial potential of B. So we can put the values now. Q is 5 millicoulomb, means it is 5 into 10 raised to the minus 3, and V is minus 3 minus of 5. So it is going to be 5 minus 8, and it is 5 into minus 8 into 10 raised to the minus 3. So if you multiply, you will get minus of 40 into 10 raised to the minus 3. So 0.04, minus of 0.04, minus of 0.04 joule, because all the quantities are in SI unit. So we can say that minus of 0.04 joule. So this will be our correct option, minus of 0.04 joule. I hope you understood this question. This is also a very simple question, just formula based question. Here, while putting the values, you need to be careful. Everything else was very simple, just like always. So this was the question. Now we are going to move to the next question. So this is again from class 12 syllabus. This again from class 12 syllabus. As you can see here, this syllabus, this question is a conceptual question. It is directly from NCERT. So what is given that charges are uniformly spread over the surface of a conducting sphere. The electric field from the center of a sphere to a point outside the sphere varies with the distance r from the center as. So here we need to find the electric field. We need to find the electric field from the center of a sphere to outside the sphere with distance r. We have to find that graph of electric field for a uniformly charged conducting sphere. Uniformly charged conducting sphere. So we know that inside the conducting sphere, there will be no charge. If there will be no charge, so there will be no electric field as well. So if there is no charge, no electric field inside the surface, so obviously the correct option will be this only, because here with when r is less than r, the electric field is 0, and after that electric field starts decreasing as 1 upon r square, and here when E is r, the small r, the distance from the center is lesser than the radius of the sphere, then electric field is going to be 0, and after that electric field is going to be inversely proportional to 1 upon r square. So this will be the correct option only, and this is the direct NCERT based question. This is the direct concept question. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Okay, so here again class 12 syllabus question. It is given that we have to match the two columns, column 1 and column 2. Read out the question and try to figure out. It is very easy question. It is just a formula based question. We just need to understand what is the formula. So here angle between vector P and vector E is given, and we have to find the potential energy of the dipole. So what I can remember, what I can recall from the formula from the formula summary that the potential energy the potential energy of dipole in any external electric field is minus of P dot E. Minus of P dot E. So minus of P. P is what? Potential. P is the dipole moment. P is the dipole moment P. It is E. And how to open the dot product? It is going to P E cos theta. So for theta equals to 180 degree, for theta equals to 180 degree, cos theta is going to be what? Cos theta is going to be minus 1. Cos theta is minus 1. For theta is equals to 180 degree, cos theta is minus 1. So if you are going to put minus 1, then this minus will get cancelled out and it will become, the potential energy for this is going to be plus of P. So the correct option for this is going to be second. The correct option for this is going to be second. So for A, I can say the correct option is second. And for C, we can check very easily. For C, the correct option should be 0 directly, because cos 90 is 0. Cos 90 is 0. Cos theta becomes 0 when angle is 90 degree. So for C, I can say that for C the answer should be fourth. And let's now match the option. So A second and B. Okay, so we need to calculate B also, because A second and C for this there in two options. So we need to calculate for B also. So B is given as 120 degree. So here, if theta is 120 degree, cos theta is going to be cos theta. Cos theta means cos 120. I guess you know how to calculate the value of cos 120 degree. It is going to be minus of half. So if you put the values, so it is going to minus P times minus half. So it is going to be PE by 2. So potential energy is going to PE by 2. Potential energy will be PE by 2. So this will be our third option. So here we can say that third will be the correct option for B. So this third option will be our final answer. I hope you understood this question. This question is again very simple. It is just based on a single formula that U is equals to minus P dot E. And you need to know the values of cos theta for different angles. That's all. That's all this question is going to ask for you. Okay, any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can write down in comments and chat. Now a theoretical question, very theoretical question from the NCERT based very theoretical question. So it is given that which of the following statement is not true. Remember, not true is asked. We have to find, we have to check all the statement and then we have to find which one is not true. So equipotential surface, let's read the statement along with me. Equipotential surface are the surface where the potential is constant. This is true statement. That's why it is known as equipotential, because the potential is same, equal, constant. So this is true. This is true. Then equipotential, I am writing true, no? So that you don't get confused. So this is true. So equipotential surface for a uniform electric field are parallel and equidistant from each other. So equipotential surface for a uniform electric field. When electric field is uniform, means it is going to be a straight lines. When electric fields are going to be a straight line, the equipotential surface are going to be the plane which is going to be perpendicular to the electric field lines like this. So we can say that this is also true. Now electric field is always perpendicular to an equipotential surface. Yes, it is also true. It is a fact that equipotential surface and the electric field must always be perpendicular. Otherwise, there will be a component of the electric field and the equipotential surface will not be equipotential anymore. So this third statement is also true. Now let's talk about the last statement. Work done to move a charge on equipotential surface not zero. Work done to move a charge on an equipotential surface not zero. No, it is zero. So this statement is false. Why it is zero? Because we know that work done is going to be change in potential energy. Change in potential energy is Q delta V. As we know that we are moving on the equipotential surface, so delta V is going to be 0. If delta V is 0, so work done should also be 0. Work done should also be 0. So this statement is false and this is our correct answer. Understood how to check this type of question? Whenever not true or incorrect statement is given, you have to check all the options and then only you need to check the mark the correct option. Okay. So let's move to the next question. So read out this question. It is a very simple question. Here we need to find the terminal voltage. What is the terminal voltage? What is the theory behind the terminal voltage? What is the formula of terminal voltage? I guess you know the formula of terminal voltage. Obviously there is only one battery, so this battery is going to get discharged, and when the battery is going to discharging, the battery is in discharging state, the terminal voltage, the terminal potential is going to be E minus I times R. Now here E is given as 2 volt, volt. R, it is not mentioned, but we have to understand this is a small resistance compared to this, so this must be the internal resistance of the cell. R is already given. So E we know, R we also know. We need to find just the value of I, the current. We need to just find the value of I, the current, to find the terminal voltage. So how to find the current? We can say that these two, this one and this two resistors are in the series. So we can say that the net resistance is going to be sum of these two. So it is going to be 4 ohm. The net resistance is going to sum of these two, that is 4 ohm, because they both are in series. And we know the EMF as well. So current, we can say that current is going to be E by R. E is what? E is 2, R is 4. So current is going to be 0.5. Ampere. 0.5 ampere. So now we got the value of current. Now we are going to put this value here. So E is what? 2 minus 0.5 into R is 0.1. So if you subtract, you will get 1.95. 1.95 volt. This is the terminal voltage across this battery, which is given in first option. I guess you understood the question as well as the concept behind this question, and I hope this question you have marked correct in your exam. Okay, so let's move to the next question. This is the next question. Okay, so this is a very simple question. It is NCERT based question. It is a fact that you can check from the NCERT. So factual question it is. So what is given that two cells of EMF E1 and E2 are connected in parallel with resistance R1 and R2 as shown in the figure. The equivalent EMF of the combination. We have to find the equivalent EMF of the combination. So equivalent EMF of the combination will be always in parallel condition. Equivalent EMF of the combination will always be lesser than the greatest value of EMF, and it will be greater than the least value of EMF. Okay, so among these two, E2 is greater. So equivalent EMF is going to be lesser than E2 means lesser than the greatest value, and it is going to be greater than the least value. So that is the even. So E equivalent will always be in between these two, and it is given that in option 3rd and 4th both. It is given that in option 3rd and 4th, as you can see here, E equivalent is between E1 and E2. Now we have to find this E equivalent is going to be nearer to E1 or E2. So it is a fact you can derive, you can check from the NCERT that it is going to be closer to the value of E1, means the least value. It is going to be closer to the least value. You can also take some random values to check this fact. Okay, so this is the question. That is very easy question, we can say, asked in KCET this year. So now we are going to move to the next option. Okay, so I think this row should be here, not here. Okay, so row is here, not here. There is a mistake, no problem. Okay, so here, let's get back to this question. Have you read this question? Have you attempted this question? This is direct diagram based question from NCERT. All these 3 diagrams are given on a single page in NCERT in current electricity chapter. You can go through that chapter and check out this graphs, and it is given that it is a resistivity versus temperature graph. And we have to identify the materials X, Y and Z. So X, talking about the X is this thing, its temperature, as resistivity is increasing with temperature, so it will be a metal. In case of metal, it is going to be a copper, because copper is a metal. Talking about Y is having linear graph. So its resistivity is still temperature dependent. It is increasing with the temperature, but it is increasing linearly, so it will be a graph of nichrome Y. And the other we can say Z curve is given which is having temperature dependent resistivity, and when temperature is increased the resistivity decreases, so it is observed in semiconductors only. It is observed in semiconductors only. So the correct answer will be like this: X will be copper, Y will be nickel, and Z will be a semiconductor. So that will be a third option. So it is a very simple, you can say, direct question from NCERT graph. So always whenever you are going to do the preparation for the competitive exam, just go through the NCERT first. So here we have moved to the next question. Here it is given that a current carrying wire of non-uniform cross section is given which of the following is constant throughout the length of the wire. So the cross section is non-uniform. The cross section is non-uniform. So if cross section is non-uniform, so what we can say, current is still going to be same. Current is still going to be same because current is nothing, just rate of charge flow. So current is going to be same. It is going to be constant, and we know that current is equals to NEAVD. Current is going to be NEAVD. N is the number of electrons per unit volume. E is the charge of electrons. So these two are not going to change, as well as this is not going to change. So this A into VD must be equals to constant. A into VD must be equals to constant. So if area, as you can see, it is non-uniform. It is not having uniform area. So if area is increasing, VD should decrease. Or you can say area, this VD, drift velocity, is going to be inversely proportional to area. Drift velocity will be inversely proportional to area. So here drift velocity will change, surely change. So this first cannot be our option because drift speed is given. This can also not be our option because drift speed is given, as well as this. So the correct option will be our second option, current only. So current is the only thing that is going to be constant here. Now let's move to the next question. Again, diagram based question. It is already very easy question, you can say. We have also seen this type of question previously. So it is given that the graph between variation resistance of a metal wire as a function of its diameter, keeping other parameters like length and temperature constant. So if we are talking about the resistance is nothing, just rho L by A. Only diameter is changed. So diameter, if we want to express this thing in terms of diameter, so it is going to be something like this. So rho 4L divided by pi d square. So this is the value of resistance in terms of diameter. And if you want to draw the graph between resistance and diameter, so first you need to understand the relationship between resistance and diameter. It is inversely proportional to each other. So when the diameter is going to increase, the resistance will decrease. When diameter is going to increase, the resistance will decrease. So obviously this second option will be a correct option. It cannot be a linear graph, so it cannot be this force graph. And obviously in this first two graph, the resistance is increasing with diameter, so this cannot be possible. So the correct option will be only second option. Okay. So now we are going to move to the next question. Okay, so again same simple way, NCERT based question, very easy questions. This time most of the questions are very easy. Almost 50 to 60 questions are easy. 50 to 60 in 60 questions, 50 to 60% questions are very easy. 50 to 60% is a very large amount for an exam to put easy questions. So here two thin long parallel wires separated by distance r from each other in vacuum carry a current of I ampere in opposite direction. Then we have to find they are going to repel or attract to each other. So first we are going to talk about this thing. So they are having current in the opposite direction. When the current in the parallel wires are in the opposite direction, so what they do, they are going to repel. They are not going to attract, they are going to repel. Then force on each wire is going to be repulsive, and force per unit length is given by mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2 divided by the distance between them d. So here I1 and I2 are same, and if you cancel out this 2, so we can say that this is going to be cancelled out. So mu naught I square divided by 2 pi d. So this will be our answer. This will be our force per unit length, and they both are going to repel each other. So repel each other with a force of mu naught I square upon 2 pi r. R is the distance between them. I have used d, so I should write like r only. So here this will be our correct option. Okay, in the second option, it has given us 2 pi r square. R square, the force per unit length is not directly proportional to r, inversely proportional to r square. It is inversely proportional to r only. Okay, so this is the simple question, NCERT based question we can say, asked in this year KCET. Now the next question, a solenoid. It's again from the 12th class syllabus. So 40 questions are asked from 12th class syllabus this year. So whenever you are going to write down the KCET next time, make sure that you go through the syllabus of class 12 thoroughly. So here a solenoid of 1 meter long and 4 centimeter in diameter. It has 5 layers of windings of 1000 turns each and carries a current of 7 ampere. The magnetic field at the center of the solenoid. So we have to find the magnetic field. So magnetic field at the center of solenoid can be written like this, mu naught n I. So here, what is the mu naught? Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Talking about the n is the number of turns per unit length. Number of turns per unit length. So here, 1000 turns are there, and this 1000 turns are having 5 layers. So 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000. So total 5000. Total 5000 turns are there in length of 1 meter. In the length of 1 meter. The length is 1 meter. The length is 1 meter. Into current. What is the current? Current is 7 ampere. Current is 7 ampere. And you can see here, this pi is going to get cancelled with this. This pi can be written as 22 by 7. 7 will get cancelled out, and you will get your answer. I think you will get your answer like 4.396 into 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, so this is your final answer. This is your final answer. When you are going to solve, you will get this value. So this is the very simple question based on NCERT and formula based question. Now again, very simple question. It is conceptual question. It is given that, read out this question. It is given that 2 galvanometers are converted into ammeter and a milliammeter. So we have to convert 2 identical galvanometers into ammeter and milliammeter. So here it is going to convert into ammeter, and here it is going to be converted into milliammeter. Okay, and the shunt resistance of ammeter as compared to the shunt resistance of milliammeter. So when we are going to convert this galvanometer into ammeter, what we have to do? We have to add one shunt. We have to add one shunt in series, so in parallel with the galvanometer. So here also this is going to be as a milliammeter like this, and we can say that S is going to be what? S is going to be galvanometer, resistance of galvanometer divided by I divided by Ig minus 1. I divided by Ig minus 1. So here you can clearly see that galvanometer G is going to be same. G is going to be same. Ig, the maximum current this galvanometer can have, is also going to be same. So S is inversely proportional to I. S is inversely proportional to I. S is inversely proportional to I. So S of ammeter divided by S of milliammeter is going to be inversely proportional to the current. So current of milliammeter divided by current of ammeter. So current of ammeter is always going to be greater than current of milliampere. So this entire value is going to be lesser than 1. So SA is going to be lesser than S of milliammeter. So shunt of ammeter, as you can clearly see, the shunt of ammeter is going to be lesser than the value of shunt of milliammeter. So it should be less. It should be less. I hope you understood this question. This is a very conceptual based question. It is a very conceptual based question, and you just need to apply some mathematics, and there is nothing more in this question. Understood? So now we are going to move to the next question. So this is the question which is again theoretical. It is NCERT based. You can go through the magnetism and matter chapter to find out the correct statement. This correct statement about diamagnetic material. So obviously we can say that diamagnetic material permeability is not greater than 1000. It's incorrect. Suspectively decreases with temperature. No, it is also incorrect. Now suspectivity is small and negative. Yes, it is correct. and they are free. This is also wrong. So the correct statement is third only. The correct statement is third only. So we can say that this is direct NCERT based question. Now we are going to move to the next question. See here, this is the next question. We have to find the correct statement. Again, correct statement we have to find. Again, we have to go through all the statement one by one. So here, let's read the statement with me. A straight current carrying conductor has circular magnetic field lines around it. A straight current carrying conductor has a circular magnetic fields around it. So, in fact, it has a circular magnetic fields around it. So yes, it is true. So we got our first option as 2. So I don't think we need to go through all the other statements. And obviously, we can say, if you want to, then you can check by yourself that the other statements are going to be wrong because it is a single correct option only. So we got our answer as first option as correct. So the answer is going to be first only. Okay. Then we are going to move to the next question. Again, diagram based question. We have to find the relationship between the magnetic field and R for the straight current carrying wire, straight current carrying conductor. So infinitely long, if it is an infinitely long current carrying conductor, so we can say that magnetic field around it at a distance R is going to be inversely proportional to R, inversely proportional to R. So we can say that if it is inversely proportional to R, so the graph should be like this only, because if R is going to increase, the magnetic field is going to get decreased, and obviously it is not a straight line graph. The straight line graph means y equals to mx plus c. It is not like that. So we can say it has to be a curve. So curve like this. So this is also given in NCERT. This direct diagram is given in NCERT for this case in magnetic effect of current chapter. So now we are moved to the next question. Here, if we consider an electron and photon of same de Broglie wavelength, then they will have same. So very simple logical question. What do you need to know? That the de Broglie wavelength is going to be h upon p. The de Broglie wavelength is going to be h upon p. As it is given that they are having same wavelength, so obviously if lambda is same, h is same for everyone, because this is universal constant. So p should be same. So p, the momentum will be constant for the electron as well as the photon. The momentum is going to be same for electron and photon. So the correct option is going to be 3. So it should be solved within 15 seconds because there is nothing to be solved in this case. So the next question is given like this. Here the question, again diagram based question, this question is from photoelectric effect. As you can see here, it is asking the photocurrent I, and photocurrent I, we know that photocurrent I is not going to depend on the frequency. It is not going to depend on the frequency. Photocurrent I is not a function of frequency if frequency is greater than threshold frequency. If frequency is greater than threshold frequency, then photocurrent does not depend on the frequency. So before this achieve, before we can say when the frequency is lesser than threshold frequency, when frequency is lesser than threshold frequency, the current is going to be 0 because there will be no photoelectric effect observed. So the correct draft will be fourth option. The correct draft will be fourth option. So it is a very logical or simple question based on NCERT concept. So we have discussed 30 questions. Now I want to invite my other experienced teacher, which is going to discuss the next remaining 30 questions in this session. And I hope you have understood all the questions in this session. And one more thing, I want to say that whatever means how was the today's exam, I wish you all the best for the next exam, for the tomorrow's exam. Okay, thank you. Please sir, please come.
Hello students. So already Sudhanshu sir discussed the first 30 questions. So from 31 to 60, We are going to discuss the next 30 questions, and please hurry up, students. If there is any problem or any technical glitches there, just write down in the chat box. We'll take care of it. And one more thing, we have this chemistry paper also, so please try to uh, with stay with me. I have to cover these questions within the limited time period. We already have this running short of time. So this question is 31st question, and we have when a bar magnet is pushed towards the coil along its axis as shown in the figure. These type of very common questions we have in NCERT. One thing you have to know, if we have any loop is there, and if you take this bar magnet towards this loop, so definitely from Lenge's law, we know that this loop will try to repel this incoming magnet. So it will be of north pole also. So this is very clear, and when it will be a north pole, the current will be in anti-clockwise direction. So it is very easy question. If this north pole is coming towards this simple loop, it will be act as a north pole, and if it will be act as a north pole, the current will be in this direction. So it will be going from X bar to X. So it will be deflect towards X. This will be the correct option. This will be the correct answer. It is a very straightforward kind of question. I hope you understood this question. Next question is, we have a square loop. It is very clearly given in the question. We have a square loop, and this square loop is having this kind of magnetic field, but the main constraint is this is YZ plane. So bacho, if we have students, if we have this is X axis, this is Y axis, and this is Z axis, and your plane is along YZ plane, this is YZ plane. So we need to take care of the magnetic field which is normal to the plane. It is very clear that flux is always considered to be the field lines which are moving normal to the loop area, normal to this square plane. So we consider only the magnetic field along x-axis. This is the crunch of this question, along the x-axis. What does it mean? We require this 5i only. What is the area of this loop? Is square is 2 meter. So area will definitely 4 meter square, and the magnitude of the magnetic field is only 5 Tesla. So flux will be 4 5s are 20 Tesla meter square, or we can have this Weber. So this will be the correct answer, and it is very straightforward question. If any problem is there, if you need to ask any question, please ask me. I'm with you. I'm taking this live chat also, seeing this live chat. If there is any problem, you can ask me. Next question is again a very simple question. In domestic electric main supply, the voltage and the current, definitely in our domestic supply, the current and the voltage both are alternating, both are sinusoidal. So we have this AC voltage and AC current. Yes, for an electronic equipment, we require DC current. But for that DC current, we use adapters. If you know, we use adapter to convert AC into DC. Otherwise, in our sockets, in our household equipments, we have this AC current and voltage only. We have a question again from this alternating. As Sudhanshu sir already discussed, out of 60, 40 questions are from class 12. Yani almost 70% of the questions are from class 12. Only 30% questions are from class 11. So we have V is equal to 311. So V naught, that is the peak voltage, is 311 volts. And what is VRMS? We all know VRMS is 1 by root 2 V naught, which is approximately 0.7 into 311 volts. That comes out to be, if you multiply, either this will be correct or this will be correct. This will be 220 volts. And this 314T, it will be 2 pi f. So 314, this is 2. This pi can be written as 3.14 into f. If you solve this expression, it comes out to be 100 by 250 hertz. This is the well-known supply that we have on domestic appliance, that is 220 volt and 50 hertz of supply. So this will be the correct answer. Next question, we have an LCR circuit, and this is the question in LCR circuit. What they have given? They have given the reactance, that is XL and XC is given as 24 ohm and 16 ohm, and the resistance we have is equal to 6 ohm connected in series. So what we need to find? The potential drop across inductor and capacitor. First, what we need to find? Impedance. What is impedance, students? Impedance will be XC minus XL whole square plus R square. So it will be, the difference will be 8 square plus 6 square, and we know that it is well known 10 ohm is the impedance. Once you get this value of impedance, you can easily find the current. Current will be the voltage upon the impedance, that is 100 upon 10, that is 10 ampere. And once you get this 10 ampere, the combined voltage will be, combined resistance will be XL minus XC. That comes out to be 8 ohm. So the voltage will be VL minus VC, that is 8 into 10. That is 80 volt is the answer. It is a very straightforward kind of question. If any problem is there, we have all technical assistance. If you have any problem, you can write down on the chat box. Is there any technical glitch or any other problem is there? Just write down on the chat box. We take care of it. So this will be the correct answer. 80 volt is the correct answer. And we have this data-based question that you have to match the following. Microwave visible. So one thing is very clear. We know about visible. Visible is very clear. It is 380 nanometer to approximately 700 nanometer, and it is given as 700 nanometer to 400 nanometer. So one thing is very clear, that this visible light will be belongs to this A, 700 to 400 nanometer, and they have given only one option in which the second will give you A. So fourth is the correct option. Otherwise, we know that we have a series of this wavelength parameters from gamma radiation to X-rays, ultraviolet, then we have this Vibgyor, then we have infrared, and so many other wavelengths are there. But in this question, this is the well-known fact that visible light ranges from, this is 380, this is for violet, and this is for red color. So this will be 700 to 400 nanometer, visible, second to A. So this fourth option will be the correct option. Now we have this question. This question is, a light passes through vacuum into the medium. We'll tell you this question. This is the question. In this question, it is given that this is air, students, and this is any other medium. In this question, they have given that whatever be the angle of incidence, and definitely this angle is less. So whatever be the angle of refraction, the angle of incidence is twice of it. So angle of incidence is twice of the angle of refraction. This is n. So we have this Snell's law. What is Snell's law, students? 1 into sine 2r is equal to n into sine r. What we need to find? We need to find the this refractive index in terms of this angle of incidence. So it will be 2 sine r cos r will be n sine r. So you can cancel this sine r from both the sides. We have this cos r, that will be n by 2. So r will be cos inverse of n by 2. This is the correct option. This question is by mistake, it is not clearly written in this PPT. So, but we know that this is very frequently asked question in many of the examinations. So that what is the question? That the angle of incidence is twice the angle of refraction. So you can solve this question like this only. Again, we have a very simple question. We have a convex lens. It is cut into power. If you cut the lens in two parts, if suppose P and F is the power, so one of the part, the focal length will get twice. The worth of the lens is not the focal length, it is the power, and power is inversely proportional to focal length. So if you cut the lens, the focal length will be twice and power gets half. So if you cut the lens in this part, it will be 2f and P by 2. But if you cut the If you cut the lens in this fashion, the focal length and the power will remain same. There will be no change, because when we cut the lens in transverse section, there will be no change. Only the change is in the intensity of the light. Aperture, if you change the aperture, only the intensity of light will be the change in the position. So if we have P and F, so one thing is very clear, for this it will be same, P and F. For this, whatever be the power, it will be half, the focal length will be 2f. So power of the lens 3. So power of the lens 3 will be, power of the lens 3 is P by 2. So this will be the correct answer. Now we move to question number. The image formed by the objective lens of the compound microscope. We know that in compound microscope we have objective and the next is eyepiece. The role of objective is to create real image and enlarged. We have real image formed by the object. So real and enlarged is the correct answer. Now we have this question which is related to this part, and R is given, and we know that this I plus E is equal to A plus this delta. So this 40 degree minus T square is the correct option. Now we have this question. This is the, if we have this lens and if we have this incident wavefront, we know that for lens, if these are the incident rays, they will be confined. Confined means if these are the rays and if they are confined, it will be like this. So this will, fourth option will be the correct option. The total energy carried by the light wave when it travels, if the light is striking the surface which is non-reflecting, non-absorbing, that it will reflect the complete light as it is given that non-reflecting and non-absorbing medium. So total energy carried by the light wave when it travels from rarer to the non-reflecting, so it will be remain same. There will be no change in the energy of the light. The radius of first Bohr orbit, we are talking about radius. We know that what is the formula of radius of nth orbital? 0.52 n square upon z angstrom. So the crux of the question is this radius is proportional to n square. So what if r is the radius of the first Bohr orbital, radius of the second will be 4r. So this will be the correct answer. Square of the 2 will be 4. Isotopes, same atomic number. Same atomic number means protons must be same. Isobar, mass number. Mass number means A must be same. That is proton plus neutron. Isotones, neutrons must be same. So atomic number is same in this case. So this will belongs to A. Mass number is same for these two. So this is for isobars. And the difference is neutron. This will be C. So A, we have this A connected with 3. A connected with 3. Two options are there. B is connected with C. B is connected with 1. B is connected with 1. So third option is the correct option. So we can easily choose the correct option. Now we have which of the following statement is incorrect with reference to the nuclear force. We need to find incorrect. Nuclear forces become repulsive for nucleon distance less than 0.8 femtometer. Nuclear forces is always attractive. This is not correct. It is not always attractive. It depends on the distance between the nucleons. If the certain distance is less than or more than, it is a short range force. We already discussed this. So this is the incorrect. That is second is the correct option. And it is the kind of question you have to learn about this. What is the conductivity and resistivity for the metal? So it will be third option is the correct. 10 raised to the power minus 2 to 10 raised to the power minus 8 ohm meter, and the second option is the correct option. Which of the following statement is correct for n-type semiconductor? For n-type semiconductor, we have excess number of electrons with it. Excess number of electron, yani they are easy. In n-type semiconductor, it is easy to mobilize the charged particle. Why it is easy to mobilize the charged particle? Because the carrier major having lesser mass and very easy to conduct them. So the donor energy level lies just below the bottom of the conduction band is the correct answer. This is the very straightforward question. This is in reverse bias mode. This is in forward bias mode. So there will be no current through this. The total current will be 3 by 100. So 0.03 ampere is the current. So it is a very straightforward question. Easy questions are there, but you have to take care of each and every small concept from class 11 to 12. That is the most important part. Now we have these questions, they belong to experimental physics. So you should know the formula. The refractive index is R3, reading at the third point minus R1, R3 minus R2. So what is R3? This is R3, 8.123 minus this 5.123 R1, and this 8.123 minus 6.123. That comes out to be 3 by 2, that is 1.5. So it is a straightforward experimental physics question. And next also we have this question. The manometer resistance is G into S upon G minus S. You should remember this formula. And what is G? It is 5200, S is 90 upon 5200 minus 90. It comes out to be approximately this value, 91.6 ohm is the correct answer. I'm a bit of hurry just because we have to complete this in given interval of time. After that, you all know that chemistry session is also there. So time is limited. We have different coefficient. Again, students, you all know, you have already attempted this question. Which formula is used? Formula for terminal velocity. It will be very well-known formula, 2 by 9. It will be 2 by 9. We have the density difference, rho minus sigma. It will be R square G upon eta. What we require? Eta. So eta will be 9 by 2. This terminal, or we can have this, eta will be 2 by 9 R square G rho minus sigma upon terminal velocity. In this complete question, the only thing which we have to know is terminal velocity. It will be distance upon time. Distance upon time means it is already given that this, for moving this much of distance through this viscous liquid, what is the time taken? It is given, time is also given in this question. Ball sinks by distance, and the time taken is this. So you have to take the average value. So average value of these 3657075, it comes out to be 2.7 seconds. So what we need to do, everything is given. R is given, G is given, difference of density is given, and VT is given as distance. Distance is given as this much of distance, 0.9. And time is given as 2.7. If you put all these values, you get this answer. 0.14 Pascal into second is the correct answer. Dimensionally, we know that it is not possible to have any kind of complex function. The quantities must be multiplied by simply, and it will be not more than 3 quantities. So only expression that can be resolved or evolved using dimensional analysis is Stokes' law. You all know about this, Stokes' law, F is equal to 6 pi eta RT. This cannot be found. It will be always with the law of mass action. This is always an experimental, and this cos and sine is not in our dimensional analysis. This question having some calculation. What is the calculation? Two particles, they are simultaneously they have this difference of time, but they are moving with the same height from the same height distance. So what we have, if initially if we have first particle and second particle, this h will be s1 minus s2. So what is s1, students? S1 will be half g t plus delta t, t naught plus delta t whole square minus half g t naught square. This is the important point. And the crux of the question is the velocity will be, velocity of the particle when the particle is already moving some point, it will be g delta t and it will remain constant. As it will remain constant, what does it mean? Acceleration is zero, velocity is constant. So what is the extra time taken by the particle? It will be this h upon g delta t plus delta t upon 2. This is the correct answer. And remember one thing, only 2 and 3 options are dimensionally correct. First option and fourth option are dimensionally incorrect. So out of the 4, you have to ignore, neglect already eliminated first and the fourth option. Only you have to choose in between option number 2 and option number 3. And with this small calculation, you can get to know that this is not the correct answer. So even if you are not solving this question completely, you have this correct answer, option number 2. In the projectile motion, we know that the horizontal component, because there is, if we ignore the air drag, air resistance, the horizontal component in case of projectile motion remains unchanged. And if you throw anything vertically upward, each and every instances there will be change in velocity. But if the particle is moving along the horizontal direction, there will be no change in the horizontal velocity. So out of these 4 options, the horizontal component of the velocity, it will remain constant. And you know, this is the very basic, very important part. This is the most interesting question of this KCET paper. Most interesting. Why we have this most interesting paper? You should know a bit of mathematical knowledge that this is the equation of circle, students. This is the equation of the circle, and 2, 0. This 2, 0 is the point of center. This is the coordinates of the central point, and 5 is the radius. This is the lowermost point. At this point, either the particle moving towards the left or towards the right with the speed of 2 meter per second. As it is already given, it is 2 meter per second. So one thing is very clear. The only acceleration, because it is in uniform circular motion, and in uniform circular motion, there will be no change in speed. Although the velocity will changes in each and every point, but speed will remain constant. And if speed is remain constant, the only acceleration is centripetal acceleration. It is towards the central point along the plus j. So one thing is very clear, it is along the plus j. So we just cancel first and the third option. Only 2. Elimination is very important in case of these multiple choice question. Elimination method is very important. First you have to eliminate first and third. And now it is very easy to understand. This centripetal acceleration is v square upon r. That is 2 square upon radius is given as 5. So it will be 4 by 5, that is 0.8 meter per second square. So if you club both the values, that is 0.8 and this j cap. So second is the correct option. If you have any problem, please write down in the chat box. We are already running out of the time. Chemistry session is also there. This question, it is based on this Lami's theorem, that is equilibrium of the point if we have 3 forces. So one thing is very clear, the force acting at this point will be mg. Because we have a frictional force of mu mg, static friction and maximum value. Same force will be at this point also, and this is T. So this is 90 degrees, students. This complete angle is 90 plus theta as already given in this question, and this is 180 minus theta. We are not concerned with this tension value, this mu mg upon sine 90 plus theta, that is cos theta, and this mg sine 180 minus theta, that is sine theta. So straightforward, the value of mu will be cot theta. So this fourth option is the correct option, right? Now we have this question. In this question, it is given that a particle is moving under the action of frictional forces, and as it is moving in the frictional track, definitely it will experience the kinematic friction, not the static friction. So the value of kinematic friction is fixed. So what we have, the net force on the object will be, this is the net force, it will be the applied force minus the kinematic friction. So what is the net force? It will be the mass into acceleration. The force applied is given as 20, and we know that it will be mu k into mg. The value of kinematic friction is fixed and its value is mu k into mg. And we'll take 10 more minutes to complete this paper. So be with me. 10 minutes will be enough time to complete this paper. So we have this m into a, acceleration is 20 by 3 is equal to 20 minus 0.25 m into g. On solving, you get this mass 2.2 kg. You can solve this calculation. So we have this, again a new question, work done. So we can calculate the work done by the method of integration, that is integral f dot dx, or we have another a very simple concept that work done is change in kinetic energy. That is the important part. Crux of the question is you have given a velocity which is the function of x. As the velocity is the function of x, we are not going to find the force because it is a variable force. So we are not going to use integral f dot dx, rather we are using this change in kinetic energy. Once you have this point is clicked that you need to find this change in kinetic energy, half m v square, that is 2 raised to the power 3 by 2 whole square. On putting all the values, it comes out to be 4 joule. So third is the correct option. During the elastic collision, it is very interesting question, students. During the collision, the kinetic energy before and after the collision may or may not be constant, but if it is an elastic collision, kinetic energy is constant. But during the collision, just after the collision and just before the collision, energy is same. But during the collision, it is not necessary, or it is not true that energy is constant. Why it is not true energy is constant? You can consider a spring system. If a block hit the spring with some speed, the total kinetic energy gets converted into spring energy. And in case of collision, the total kinetic energy gets converted into elastic potential energy. So the initial kinetic energy and the final kinetic energy of the system is same. That is very true. This is the well-known fact, the linear momentum during the collision is same. This is the important part. It is not conserved. So this is true because the kinetic energy gets, for a momentarily time, for an instant of time, the kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy, and because of this, the kinetic energy is not conserved. All three are correct. So 1, 2 and 3, all three are correct. That is the important part. So thank you so much for watching this live session, and be with us. We have next session of chemistry also. Thank you so much.